What are some ways you can make your life easier as a general dentist? No matter where you are in your dental career, whether you're just graduating or you're a seasoned doctor, this is always something you should be asking yourself. How do you make your life easier? And I'm not saying you shouldn't be working hard. You can be the hardest worker in the room, but you also want to learn how to work smarter. Hey guys, my name is Amanpreet Singh and welcome back to Dental Secrets. Now, dentistry can be really tiring. You see patients all day and you get drained because not only are you talking to these patients, you're trying to make them happy and you're doing procedures with your hands and you're also talking to your staff and writing notes and making sure that you didn't miss anything. And at the end of the day, you're usually so tired you just want to go home and forget about it until you have to come back tomorrow, right? So today I'm going to give you 5 ways to make your life easier as a general dentist. But before I get started with the video, make sure you hit that thumbs up button and subscribe to our channel so you don't miss our new content. The first tip I have is pretty simple and it's to take breaks. Now I know what you're thinking, dude, how am I going to take breaks when I'm in the middle of a procedure? Or how am I going to take breaks when my schedule is packed? But there are some times where you can take a break, you just choose not to. If you're running behind on your schedule and you just numb a patient, you probably want to get started right away. I've been guilty of this before where I numb a patient and I ask right away, like, how are you feeling? Are you feeling numb? And I try to get started right away. But really what this does is you are stressed the whole day. You don't even get a second to just breathe or get a sip of water or catch up on some notes or anything. So what I started doing is if I just numbed a patient and I don't have any hygiene checks to do or I'm not side booked with another patient, I go into my office and I start catching up on notes or I just take a breath or get a sip of water. Something just to give your mind a break away from actually doing dentistry. And this way you can still be productive because if you catch up on your notes, there's less work for you to do at the end of your day. And the other benefit of this is you're not scrambling trying to remember what you did. I can't tell you how many times I saw a patient in the beginning of the day and I didn't have a chance to write any notes until the very end of the day and I forget half the things I talked about with that patient. And I'm there looking back at x-rays or asking my assistant or something what exactly we talked about just to make sure I didn't miss anything. And this can also help with your productivity. Let's say you're doing fillings on a patient and they brought up that they're interested in Invisalign. So you guys have a short discussion about Invisalign, they seem pretty interested. If you have a chance to write your notes right away, you can document that you guys talked about Invisalign and the patient seemed interested. That way in the next appointment, you can bring that up to the patient and they might be more interested. I've seen many times where if you never bring it up to the patient again, they either forget or they just lose interest. But if you bring it up again, they'll show more interest and you have a better chance of showing the value that you can bring to the patient. And there's other times you can take breaks too. You can take breaks when you put Viscostat during a crown prep. You can take breaks during an impression. You don't have to be just pacing in the room back and forth trying to make sure you're on top of everything. You can go in the room and relax for a little because you're really not wasting any time. Now, the second tip I have is to thank and really show appreciation to your staff. One of the hard parts of being a dentist is you can work so hard and you can do such great work, but a lot of times you don't get that appreciation you're looking for. For example, you can do the most beautiful root canal. You can be working on a molar, you found the 4th canal, the obturation looks beautiful and there's no voids and you're so happy with the work you did, but you're wondering why no one is thanking you for it. The patient doesn't say, wow, good job, doc, because they have no clue what's going on. They just want to get out of there. You don't hear from your assistants or your front desk. Really, no one's there to appreciate the work that you're doing because no one really understands all the preparation and all the work it takes to get a great result like that, except for you or other dentists. And if you're the only doctor in your office, you got to understand that you're not going to get that appreciation. But you also got to look at it from everyone else's perspective. The patient's main concern is, am I going to be in pain? Can I go home and can I chew like normal? Am I going to lose my tooth? You don't know what's going on in their minds. Meanwhile, your assistant is there to make your life easier and more efficient. You got to make sure you take time to thank them and show appreciation to them because you really wouldn't have that great of a result without them. Try doing a class 2 or a crown prep without your assistant. You're going to realize how inefficient you are and how much you actually rely on them. And it's not just your assistant. Your front desk is the reason that your assistant is in the chair. Your front desk is the reason your schedule is filled up. And they're the ones dealing with all the complaints from patients. They're answering phone calls. They're making your life easier as well because now you're not the one getting bombarded. And this is especially important now with all the staffing issues we have going on. If you have people that are coming in, working hard and actually doing their job correctly, as bad as it sounds, that is a blessing right now because I can't tell you how many offices I've seen that do not have that going for them. And lastly, if you show appreciation to your staff, they're going to reciprocate and know that you actually value them, and they're going to want to make your life as easy as possible. Going along with treating your staff correctly, you also want to treat your patients correctly. Now, I know I'm guilty of this too, but there's too many times where I see dentists are way too serious with their patients. They walk in, the only thing they talk about is their teeth, what problems they have, and what they need to get fixed. They're really not looking at them like a human being. They're looking at them as a body with a set of teeth that they need to fix. And what you really should be doing is you want to go in there and have fun with your patients. Sometimes patients just want to have a conversation with you, and they want to know that you actually treat them like a human being. You can explain a treatment plan so well, go over the best options with the patient, but if you don't treat them like a human being, chances are they're not going to trust you. Now, I know I've been guilty of this plenty of times as well. You're running late, you're side booked with a root canal and extraction, and you're wondering how you can possibly finish this on time. And on top of that, you have 3 hygiene checks to do in the middle of all that. So it's really easy to rush through those exams because the only thing that's on your mind is making sure you stay on top of your schedule and making sure you finish on time. But these exams are actually what's keeping your schedule full and keeping you productive as a doctor. And sometimes what you're going to realize is you're passing up gold mines when you rush through these exams. If I'm running behind and I'm doing an exam, part of me really wishes I don't find anything so that I can just dismiss the patient and go back to what I'm doing. But sometimes you'll see those patients that start talking about aesthetics and really want to improve their smile, and they start bringing up really complex treatment plans that take a lot of planning and probably a much longer conversation with the patient. So what do you do in this situation? You don't just say, oh, your mouth looks fine, go home, I'm going to go back to my root canal, because 1, you're literally throwing a $10,000, $20,000 case right out the door. And 2, you could be losing that patient entirely, because if that patient brings up a concern and you dismiss it, that patient's going to go get a second opinion and find someone else that's going to improve their aesthetics, and you just lost a patient that's going to bring you a lot of money. So in situations like this, what I tell the patient is, look, there's a lot of things we can do. There's a lot of different treatment options. There's a lot of ways we can actually improve your smile. How about you come back on a different day? We'll talk for about 30 minutes. We won't have any distractions. I won't put any side books next to you, and we can just talk through the options and we can help you decide on the best option for you. The benefit of doing it this way is, 1, you're not dismissing the patient's concerns. You're actually going above and beyond to make sure the patient understands what the best options are for them, and you're actually treating them like a human being. Instead of just saying, oh, you need 8 veneers on the top and we can do 4 veneers on the bottom and it's going to look great, and you just walk out after about 5 minutes, the patient's going to see the treatment plan and they're going to see the price and they're going to be like, wow, this guy wants me to pay $15,000 and he only talked to me for about like 5 minutes and I don't even know what he's going to do. That patient can easily go to a different dentist, get a second opinion, and actually have a conversation with that dentist, and they'll probably feel a lot more comfortable going through with them just because they had a real conversation, a real connection with that doctor. You could do great work, but you really need to show the value to the patient. If you bring the patient back on a different day and you have a 30-minute conversation with them, you show them pictures, and you really show them the value, and then they see the treatment plan, that patient's going to be more likely to go through with it because they really see the value that you're bringing them. Now, you're not going to get every patient to go through with a big, extensive treatment plan like this, but you're much more likely to get a patient to follow through if you sit down and actually talk to them like a human being, rather than just come up with the treatment plan in 5 minutes and walk out and never talk to the patient again. The next tip I have is to try and change up your schedule. If you've been working as a dentist for a while, you should have a say in how exactly you want your schedule to be lined up. Not only does it get boring doing the same procedure all day long, let's say you're doing fillings all day long, or molar root canals all day long, it gets really tiring doing the same procedure back to back, unless you're a specialist, of course. If you just finished doing 2 molar root canals, chances are you probably don't want to do any more root canals for the rest of the day. Me personally, I'd rather change it up with doing a crown prep or doing fillings or something different just to change it up throughout the day. Unless you really wanted to be an endodontist, then you could just be doing root canals all day long. Now, changing up your schedule like this can take a little bit of time. It can take some convincing of your staff. It can take some time to build your schedule the way you like it. But in the long run, it can really benefit you. If you tell the staff to only schedule crowns at this time, only schedule root canals at this time, and only schedule fillings at this time, it's going to make your schedule way more consistent and way more predictable, and it can also improve your production. Doing it this way, you're not going to have those days where you're just sitting around doing crown seats or denture deliveries all day and just doing a couple fillings here and there and really making no production. You're going to have a much more consistent cash flow because every day you're going to be doing something more productive along with those non-productive things like crown seats or denture deliveries. Now, if you're a newer associate who's trying to get more experience, this is going to be harder to do because you're just trying to improve your skills, get as much experience as you can, and you're really taking anything you can get. But if you're an owner doc or a skilled, seasoned doctor, this is really something that you should try doing. Now, the last tip I have is to use the right magnification. I know there's a lot of doctors out there still that do not use any loupes and they do great work. And I don't understand how you guys do it, but props to you guys. But for the rest of us who actually use loupes, you want to make sure you use the right magnification and also getting the right working distance. I just recently got a new pair of loupes. I went from 3.1 to 4.5 mag, and I got my working distance adjusted. And just in the last week of using these new loupes, I can feel a total difference. Before I got these new loupes, I had pretty bad back pain, and I didn't realize why, but my old loupes had a 1 inch shorter working distance. So I found myself hunching over a lot more every single patient. And when you do that every single day for every single patient, that's going to cause some problems with your muscles. Now, my new loupes, I'm forced to sit in perfect posture and I can see things very clearly. And this was kind of hard to transition to at first because I found myself hunching over and everything was blurry and I couldn't tell why. And then I realized once I sat up and sat in good posture and looked further away, then everything became clear again. And just after a week of using this, my back pain is completely gone. I was considering going to a PT and a massage therapist and trying to figure out what was going on, but I think I figured it out myself. Also, when you use a higher magnification with the headlight, it just makes it so much easier to see everything, especially something like a root canal where you want to see all the canals. And I'll probably make another video comparing the two loupes that I have and showing why I like the new ones that have a higher magnification better than the old ones. But really, if you're thinking about getting loupes, I wouldn't even question it and just get it. It's better to start early before you start developing bad habits that get really hard to break out of once you eventually get your loupes. Thank you guys for watching. I hope you liked that video. If you want to add anything or have any questions, please let us know in the comment section below. And if you haven't already, make sure you hit that thumbs up button and subscribe to our channel. We'll see you in the next video.